There's a lot of chaos going on. Russia's at war. China's making noises. Is the threat of nuclear war at our doorstep? Stay with us, and we're going to talk about the most safe and unsafe places for us to be in the event of a global nuclear war. Welcome, Strategic Prepper community. Got a great topic today. We're going to be looking at an article which discusses a recent study done by a major university on the safest places to survive a nuclear apocalypse. And we're going to cover that. We're going to take a look at that. And before we do, please give us that thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, leave us a comment, and join us on Patreon. It's a very cost-effective way to show your support for the work that we're doing and the overall preparedness community. I hope to see you guys over there on Patreon. All right, now back to it. Let's jump to it. So the article, End of Days, Scientists Reveal the Best Places to Survive a Nuclear Apocalypse Amid Fears that 5 billion people could die. Before you turn this off, let's get into those numbers. Let's get into them a little bit here. So that's a lot. So what is this? What is going on? This is an article, U.S. Sun News. And this was, let me go ahead and pull up. This was by Katie Davis, published August 17, and I'm filming on the 17th, so it was updated just earlier this morning. And I actually read the first one yesterday on the 16th when it was originally published. But yeah, interesting article. And basically what Katie does is she looks into this report. So what is this? Not the report, the study. This was Rutgers University. They completed a detailed analysis of the impact of a nuclear winter, and the results, they say, are chilling. Pun intended, I guess. But that's what they're talking about. They're talking about the fallout. It says here, scientists believe the fallout from a mega nuke apocalypse would have disastrous impact on food production. So this is what we're talking about. We're talking about the impact on food production. So they did a really good comprehensive study here, and they looked globally where would be a safe place, where would not be a safe place. Some of the things that they came up with. It says here, even the smallest conflict could see more than 1 billion people denied food. Wow, that's a lot, because of crop failure. And it says that would be much larger than the number killed in the actual battle. Even a small nuclear battle war could kill between 50 and 100 million. And you could still have 1 billion people starving to death. So this looked at a 2-year time window. And that's what it says here. A full-scale nuclear war would see such a huge decline in crop yields. 75% of the world's population would starve to death in just 2 years. That's important to those of us who are preparedness-minded. Okay, so before we go any further, if you're wondering about what you could be doing, we've got this video. We're going to link it at the end, and that is Nuclear Safety for Preppers. Take a look at that. And because we're not going to guarantee that we can survive anything, but as preparedness-minded people, we want to give ourselves the best odds. We want to have good, well-rounded preparedness methods, gears, and training and all that, and plans. So this will help us. So check out that video. All right. So this is saying 75%. But here's the thing. Here is the kicker. According to this study, and they looked at 6 different possible scenarios, what they have found is that the devastation is not going to be constant, not going to be uniform. There are some areas that will be basically untouched, and there will be some areas that will be devastated. All right, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to show you the chart here in just a little bit. Okay, but it's pretty important to understand. And if you're in one of those areas that are high target, high hit areas, which will be, well, you'll see. Um, you're going to have to either leave or maybe take some other precautions. It says in most countries they believe there would be at least a 90% reduction in calories. We all know calories is the name of the game for survival, and a 90% reduction. That's huge. Mass die-offs. All right. So remember, we've got this video on things that we can do, and I want to talk about other things that we can do as preparedness-minded people after I go over these numbers. Let me pull this up on the screen here. All right. Top 8 places where they show basically zero population decline because of the conflict. All right. Australia. That's not a bad place. Australia, Argentina, Iceland, Haiti, Costa Rica, Panama, Guyana, and Oman. All right. Those are the top 8 places on the world to be. If you're in Australia, kudos to you. You'll be able to survive a global thermonuclear war. Okay. And okay, so let me back up a little bit. What they're talking about, this study did not look at the devastation from the nukes themselves. It looked solely on the devastation from the soot being brought into the air and how that would impact food production. So it's talking about post actual explosions, post the nuclear exchange, what would happen. And that's what they're saying. After this exchange, these 8 countries would be relatively untouched as far as food production and all that goes. All right, bottom 8. Let's go ahead and look at that. We have got 100% casualties. Mongolia, Laos, UK 99.8%, Germany 99.8%, France 99.5%, China 99.5%, Canada 99.4%, US 98.8%. Those are brutal numbers. From the US, I'm going to do a little bit of math for the US. So we have a current population of 338 million as of this moment. Just based on that, it's a close estimate, but we'll call it 338 million. And we multiply that by 98.8%. And what does that mean? Because I'm an optimistic person here, and I'm hoping you guys are going to be optimistic. All right. I'm looking at the numbers right now, and what it says is the expectation at 98.8% casualty, fatalities. That means 4 million people will survive. Bingo, I'm one of those 4 million. Okay, I hope you guys want to be one of those 4 million. So there is hope. There is hope for those who are prepared. I mean, how many preppers are there out in the country right now? Obviously, some of us will not make it in a situation like this, and some of us will. But most assuredly, most people who are not prepared, they're not going to have any hope. All right, so 4 million. That's quite a few people that may make it. I expect to be one of those. I hope you expect to be one of those. What can we do? Well, I'll tell you what. You guys know, you watch my videos. You know that I'm building my homestead. I'm working on food production capability. And actually, coming up real soon, we're going to have our 1-year anniversary in a matter of weeks. And I hope you guys will join me with that. Join us with our celebration and of that 1-year mark on the homestead. And it's quite fascinating what we've been able to accomplish. But that's all focused on food production. What does this study say? That study says for 2 years, give it up. Give it up. You're not going to be able to produce a whole lot. You might be able to grow something, but mostly you just don't have the sunshine. You're not going to be able to produce. So we've got some alternatives we need to think about because we want to be broad-based. We don't want to put all our eggs in this basket. There's no guarantee that there's going to be a thermonuclear war, but if we have this in our list of things that we're going to prepare for, we need to think about how we would solve this challenge. And first of all, food reserves. That's the easy one. That is the easy one. Food reserves. All right. Second one. Let's look at other ways to grow. Could we get some type of sun lamps to help with the growth? Problem is, sun lamps take electricity. What are you going to do? Break out your solar panels? Unlikely. The sun is darker. There's soot in the air. I remember after Mount St. Helens, I was in New York, and Mount St. Helens was in Washington State, and I remember the soot in the sky for that summer. It was pretty obvious, and for us, it would be more so, much more obvious. So for a couple of years, you're really not going to get much sun, so your solar panels are not going to work. So what else? Wind might work. Wind might work. Or having some type of other turbine. I'm hoping to come up with a wood or steam turbine that uses firewood, and that is something else to look at. But you need to have some other means for electricity. And if you come up with another means of electricity, you may be able to have grow lights and use that electricity to help grow some plants inside a building, inside a structure, inside a greenhouse, something like that. But I imagine with all that soot, temperatures will drop. If you're up north, break out the woolly pulleys because you're going to be cold. Google that, you guys that were not in the Marines. But break out the woolly pulleys because it could temperatures could drop quite a bit. And this study didn't even talk about temperature drop. It just talked about soot and the impact on growth. All right, so we see bottom 8. Oh my gosh, U.S., Canada, China, France, Germany. These are all industrialized countries, other than Mongolia and Laos. But U.S., Canada, France, Germany, U.K. I mean, those are bigs, and that's some serious population loss. But I do not want you guys to throw your hands up and say, "Oh, there's nothing that I can do." So I've given you a few other ideas. I would love to know what I'm missing. All right, let me know what else I could do in a situation like this to help my food grow, other than food stores. One thing they point out is they expect that all livestock will be gone because people will be eating the livestock's food. If you can't feed your chickens if you're eating your chicken food. Okay, one solution there is make sure you have enough for your chickens and your dogs and all that other stuff for a couple of years. They only looked at 2 years, but I suspect that something like this would last a little bit beyond 2 years, and it wouldn't just wake up one day and all of a sudden the sun is shining. It would be gradually that soot would be coming down, but it doesn't last all that long. I mean, you look at Mount Pinatubo, you look at Mount St. Helens, these explosions. Yes, they put a lot of soot in the air, but they eventually cleared itself off, and it didn't take 100 years for it to do that. I suspect we would have the same type of thing here. So 2 years would be the target. And let me know what you guys think about this video. Let me know what other ideas that we could do, because food is the name of the game. Calories is the name of the game. And if you don't have enough for you and everybody, because in a situation like this, you're probably going to have a few extra add-on people that you didn't count on. And if you don't have enough food stored up, it's going to make for really tough living. So you have to have some way to replenish that. All right. So it's a good article. I've got a link in the description. Take a look at it. And hopefully I see you guys on Patreon. And check out this video on nuke safety for preppers.